Hi, and welcome.
I'm Z,
And I'm Keith.
and we're going to tell you about the movie that we just watched. But first, a little bit of a heads up.
Some of the movies we watch deal with heavy subject matters.
In order to talk about these emotionally delicate things and the heavy subject matters that we sometimes cover, we add humor and crude language to add some levity and to process our own trauma.
If that doesn't feel fun or safe for you, we completely understand. Please take care of yourself first and foremost.
And we spoil the end of pretty much every movie that we watch.
Now you know. On with the show.
Happy birthday! I think, not to say that we don't film these live while you're listening, but I think this airs before my birthday and the next. No, my birthday's on a Saturday, so
I'm trying
the
to
next one will be.
bring up a calendar.
So the next one will be my birthday, I think.
Yeah, this should be.
A week before my birthday.
You should be listening on the 16th or 17th.
Yeah.
Because this is our third, right?
Yeah. Number.
Yep.
Three. Three. So, okay. I wanted to watch this movie. Well, this was one of the ones, like, once I said I wanted to do intimate relations for my birthday month, I was like, oh, that's going to be rough. So I'll just do a lot of, like, rough ones.
Chase that feeling.
Yeah. And I wanted to watch this one for a similar reason to that one, because I mean, I know that I have a high horse that I like to climb on. But the birthday year, the month year that we watched Great Balls of Fire, I talked a lot in that episode about, like, sort of the perception of like how things can be portrayed. That's like a true story. Right. So, but at the same time, there's still things that just don't really get addressed, but that are very blatant in the movie. The fact that she's sex trafficked, she's taken across state lines in order to be, for sex purposes. That's literally sex trafficking. But like, just different things like that. Like, I was interested in revisiting, because I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I knew that, like, I mean, I've always wanted Keith to watch this movie, because you'd never seen it, right?
Correct.
Have you hadn't seen any Lolitas?
Correct.
Okay. Did you? And you said you maybe tried to read the book but weren't sure.
Correct.
I was going to try to read some of the book today, and then I realized that my library card is expired, so
I did read some of it.
I couldn't get on Libby, so that's why I was like, maybe we should go to the library later.
I have a PDF if you would like.
Well, I don't. I just because that's how I figured out that my library card is expired, is what I'm saying. So I was like, oh, I should probably
Oh yeah,
renew that.
That's crazy, because mine did too. Remember?
Yeah.
I remember how last time when we renewed our cards, it was the same day as each other.
Yeah. So
crazy that was fucking 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So I have never read the book, but I'm interested to read the book because people herald the book a lot for being a very, like, haunting tale of sort of like brutality on a young girl from the perspective of the abuser. I think that I'm always very interested to read or watch or view things like that because I think that it is important to not understand in the sense of like, so that you can have compassion, so that you can, but like, because I think if your first impulse, I mean, I think a lot of people, especially right now, if something makes you uncomfortable, then it's bad and it should go away. And I think that sort of, even if something is bad, I think media that addresses that is very important. And that's why censorship can be very dangerous, because sometimes the only way to address something bad, to get rid of something bad, is to be uncomfortable with it. Because you need to think about it, talk about it, discuss it, and be aware of it. So the idea of just erasing it because bad is a very dangerous thing. It's sort of like how, well, not sort of. It is very literally the same thing that like, churches, like we watch a lot of things. I make Keith watch a lot of things on like FLDS. The
What's that?
Fundamentalists,
Latter-day Saints.
Church of Latter-day Saints. And the Church of Latter-day Saints is not that different than fundamentalism. It's just fundamentalism goes harder.
Well, there's a big, yeah.
And will, so the difference, LDS is usually like, we're nothing like fundamentalists. And fundamentalists are like, we're actually way better than regular LDS, but their foundation is literally the same. Like they read the Book of Mormon, they believe in Joseph Smith, they believe that he put a rock in a hat, and Jesus told him that there should be a bunch
conveniently buried in his backyard.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah, no, they made it a very intentional break.
Yes.
I forget when. Somewhere in the middle of the 20th century.
Yeah.
Espoused plural marriage.
Yeah.
But that was about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's just two different branches. Mainstream mainstream LDS is did a lot to launder its image.
Yes.
To be mainstream.
Yes.
And to be fair, there is a long history of persecution of Mormons in the United States. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's undeserved.
Yeah.
But they were literally chased across the country, more or less.
Yeah.
So they're like Indians.
They're like bullies. That's why they picked on the natives, because they got bullied and we just didn't
hurt people.
Yeah, exactly.
Amalek hurts Amalek.
So my point in that being that a lot of specifically fundamentalists, they don't like to educate, so that you don't, like, there's no sex education, there's no like women don't go to school because they need to be at home and they need to be taking care of the kids. But that's the excuse of not educating them, so they don't have an understanding of what is being done to them. The more you educate a person, the more you understand.
Start early.
Yeah. Rice. Right. What? So the meaning that...
And tibbies.
And any sort of education, even something minuscule... not minuscule, but like non-comparative, like, teaching someone arithmetic is still something that they're not going to do, because even just that could open their minds enough for them to think, like, so if knowledge is quite literally power, then to censor something, even though it is not good, would be along those lines, because knowing about something doesn't make you a bad person. Knowing that something bad exists gives you an understanding of said bad thing, or can give you a more of an understanding of said bad thing. This is one of the reasons why sex education is so poo-pooed by Christian fundamentalists, by conservatives, because when you educate someone on what is supposed to happen, when you educate someone on sex, then they will know what is being done to them.
Right.
And they will understand, oh, that thing that adult has been doing to me is sexual.
Right.
Despite what they've said, despite how they've worded it, despite how which is why they don't want that. And and you could be like, well, that's maybe one of the reasons. That's the main reason. And I'm being very serious. They want to, it's grooming. They groom you so that you are more easily abused. Period. Yeah, they don't want to teach men.
Structural. It's colonial.
Yes.
Meaning it's global.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
In the Western imperial way, I mean, it's global.
I think one of the things that really, I don't want to say it opened my eyes, because I knew this.
Can I say real quick?
Yeah.
To your point, and I think it's very fascinating. There's the part in the film, so I assume the book, where the school he's put her in, talk to him about her seeming lack of interest in sex.
Yeah.
You know, it's a scene where he thinks he's getting exposed, but...
Right.
Well, let me put it this way. Someone in the family ought to instruct that dear child in the process of human reproduction.
I'm so sorry.
I see that I've embarrassed you. Yet you, as her father, ought to take the matter well in hand.
Yes. Worry not, Miss Pratt.
Mm-hmm.
I have this matter in hand.
Oh, well, that's all I needed to say.
They believe that she doesn't have any sort of education, but while it's also true, and it's not.
Right.
You know, like she has anyway. What I was saying, like the documentary that we watched about Hillsong, I think was the one where they specifically say that one of the reasons why churches do not like educating women is so that they are able to groom them. They're like, this is a very direct line that, like, the more aware someone is of anything, the more likely they are to question something. So if you keep someone in the dark, if you keep someone uneducated, it's a grooming tactic. And they're like, it's done over and over. But that I'm pretty sure it was the Hillsong one. It to your point of, like, Hillsong started in Australia.
No, that's right.
So, like, it's a whole thing across the globe. And that was the one, because we've watched a lot of cult documentaries. That was the one where the guy that started the church had been, like, raping little boys for years. And
the founder, not the dad of the guy who blew it up, right?
Yes.
By blew it up, I mean
made it
huge.
global. Yeah.
I'm gonna close this one.
Okay. And like, one of the reasons the reason why I'm bringing that stuff up is, like, it's very interesting. Like, the LDS, if you watch, like, Shiny Happy People, and even if you watch, like, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, the things that what?
I don't remember Shiny Happy People. Maybe I do now.
Shiny Happy People is the one. The first season is about 19 Kids and Counting, like
The Duggars.
yeah, the Duggars, and how it was basically like specifically from the church to like go mainstream with Mormonism to like indoctrinate more people. But the Duggars, like one of their kids was outed as like
Right.
being a sexual predator to
On his
young
siblings.
children. And
Also, right?
what?
His siblings.
His
right?
siblings, but that included his siblings, and like the parents knew and like hid it.
Right.
So like there was a lot of stuff like that, and you could be like, what does that have to do with all this? The point being that like
Well, not to pick on Mormonism either.
no.
necessarily.
Well, I just talked about Hillsong, which is
Right,
not
right, right.
Mormonism. But like that, you could be like, oh, fundamentalism is so different than regular Mormonism, but like there's so much lack of like people really shit on. There's a relationship on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives where like one of the wives was 16 when she got pregnant, and when she got pregnant with 21-year-old guy's baby. I don't know. They're married. They've been together for like 10 years, I guess. So it's not something where he was like grooming her. Like he didn't know her age when they hooked up, things like that. Like it wasn't totally, but, and he like fully doesn't think that it's okay, like all that stuff. Like he's never like, it's fine. Like, we were in love. He's just like, yeah, it wasn't okay, but I didn't, also, I didn't know everything at the time. So, but to be clear, like a lot of people poo-poo that without understanding that like the majority of, not the majority, but like a lot of people, that will happen. Like
Yeah, it's
they
common.
got married because she got pregnant. It wasn't like they they were excommunicated from the church because of it.
Right.
They just got married, right? And so it wasn't a thing that anybody really thought about because that kind of thing happens
Yeah.
regularly, especially in things like Christian churches, Christian, like I've known, like since I was young, like I knew about, people doing things like that at church, and it being
your
like,
family.
yes. So it's that's something that's like,
Well, and as I've confessed,
yeah,
I was 20 when I was dating my 17-year-old
bride
to be
Ex-bride.
bride to be. Yeah.
bride to be, ex-bride to be.
Right. Ex-wife to be. That's a good way to say it. Yeah.
But yes, like
I never got pregnant. Knocking wood on something that has already happened.
on something that has already happened, on something that you never got pregnant. Knock on wood.
Inshallah, I never got pregnant.
Inshallah, you never got me pregnant too. How lucky is it that you landed a dude that couldn't get pregnant?
Pretty lucky. I mean, I feel like my track record's pretty.
Yeah, that's fair.
Pretty good.
I'm sure your sperms are,
I hope. Yeah.
fingers crossed.
You're welcome.
Anyway, I bring all that up to talk about the want to censor books like this because they have uncomfortable topics, whereas the uncomfortable topic is this is an awful thing that a man did to a child.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, and I think, well, so last night after we watched it, I was very interested to see the differences between the movie and the book. And from what I can tell, I'm sure that there are differences, but everything seems to point that it wasn't clear enough that the point of the book is that Humbert, yeah, thank you, is an unreliable narrator. And that was like the biggest, like everyone's like, well, you
You're
know,
saying the book is that way?
the book has him as an unreliable narrator. And the biggest complaint is that the film doesn't
make that more explicit.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that was the thing, like that's the biggest difference in the book is that we're meant
Yes.
to.
Can I speak to that a little bit? I mean, if you have more, I'm just saying, if you have more to say.
No, I know.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to do this.
You know that is it Alexis and Darby when she's like, "Can I interrupt you?" And she's like, "Well, say what you're going to say, and then I'll say what I'm going to say." And she's like, "That's exactly what would have happened." That's why I feel like that's.
Yeah.
You're like, "Can I say something to that?" Unless you had more to say, and then go ahead. Okay. All I was going to say is like, a lot of the like I read a lot of things. I didn't know this. Okay, the Nabokov wrote the screenplay for the 62 film as well.
Yes.
Which is interesting that it was so, and I read a 1962 article
Oh, okay.
about the differences, and I would never have, I was like, wow, when was this written? And I was like, in 1960 fucking 2 when the movie, I was like, damn. And people say like the 1962 movie is like I mean, people will be like, it's Kubrick, so it's like fucking, it's genius, man. You gotta, but like it seems to be the only people that think it's good are people that like it because it's Kubrick.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that's comparing it to the novel is like, it's not even the same thing. Like, it's like the general consensus of what I've seen online is like the 1962 version is not even comparable to the book because it makes no sense. It's not anything like it. It's so different. It's weird.
Yeah.
So,
I'm curious.
Yeah. I've watched it. I know that I watched it. And when I watched it, it was like so bland, but like story-wise too. Like it didn't, like nothing seemed shocking. And I don't mean that in the sense of like, I wanted there to be like sexual, but there was like, it didn't seem like it was supposed to be, like they don't say that Lolita is like young, like super young. They don't say like don't
really?
say her age at all. So like you don't know. There's I think a scene where it's implied that they kiss and that's it. And then it like fades to black and like that's the most that you get. And it's just a strange sort of like it was just a very like what's happening? Like yeah. Something this is what I want to say that I'm scared. Like I don't know if your point is gonna like sometimes when I want to hold on to a point and say more and you'll be like, well, I have something to say. And then you'll say the point that I want to make later. And I'm like, shit. So I'm just going to blurt it out now because I'm scared that what you're going to say. A lot of something that I find very interesting is that a lot of complaint seems to be that the film makes it seem like the complaints seem to be very telling to me.
Right. Of course.
It's like, the character of Dolores is so like implying that she's hypersexualized and like she seems like she's, the aggressor in so many instances and stuff like that. And they're like, that's nothing like the book. And I'm like, what? I'm like, and it's very much like,
Oh yeah, I definitely want to get into that.
Why is she so like, the movie makes it seem like they have a love story and like, I don't understand. And I'm like, yeah, I don't. And even if like, I will say this, one person on Reddit was like, oh shit, this must be Luc Besson's favorite film. And I was like, everyone was like,
absolutely.
Everyone was like, congratulations, this is an amazing comment. Everyone was like, they were like, this is an excellent burn.
No, mine was a technical point about the book.
Okay.
So, I too was interested in what was different.
Yeah.
So just right before we recorded, I was still reading actually when you said, "Are you ready to record?" I wanted to read the very last
Oh, right,
part
right, yeah.
to see if his little
Yeah.
his voiceover is
Yeah.
the same. It is.
That's what I did the same thing. I swear to God, you said that, and I was like, "Am I remembering this correctly?" But I was in a bookstore and I saw Lolita after I was like, "I've seen the movie," and I flipped to the last page to read it, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. The other point,
And that's when I knew.
yes, that's how I knew. The other point is, it is framed.
Yes.
You have a preface by the publisher. It's Nabokov.
Yeah.
It's a fictional framing. We don't know that.
Right. Yeah.
But it's framed that this publisher received this memoir,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and Humbert is a pseudonym that he's given himself.
Okay.
And other than Lolita, pretty much he's given different names to everybody to protect the innocent.
Interesting.
But the publisher's note at the beginning addresses all the controversy that it predicts all the controversy.
Yeah.
And addresses it before you've read anything.
Yeah.
So it talks about like anyone who will call this pornographic or erotic must be just as depraved as the author, the author of the memoir.
Yeah. Right.
And but it's in Nabokov. Man, his style is very. Just the short bits I've read, he's very. There's a lot of big words, let's say. And he's known for his wordplay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's lots of little stuff that, if you're a fan of Western literature,
you'll
will
jack
make
off
you
too.
jerk your little dick off. Some of it is clever. Some of it seems very clever and has a purpose. It's not just look what I did.
Yeah.
But no, it's all very intentional and very laid out.
Yeah.
That
right.
This is a despicable character. He is confessing.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
He's in prison.
Yeah.
It's also in the preface that we learned that he is deceased already. He made clear that he didn't want his memoir published while Lolita was still living.
Yeah.
So we know before we've started reading Humbert's account, his confession, that both have died already.
Yeah.
He assumes that she's going to live many years longer than he is.
Right.
He's already in prison, assuming he's going to be there for life and not live much longer. He may get executed or not.
Right.
But anyway, he assumes it's going to be years down the road, not that they're die within months of each other.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So, and he says that he started writing this memoir, taking these notes and assembling these things as a confession for his trial that he would read.
Yeah.
So those are all framings that, at least in the 97 version, we don't have,
Right.
We get the two little at the very end, we get he died in prison, she died in childbirth.
Yeah.
Fuck.
His voiceover does say multiple times. He says ladies of the jury, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and stuff like that.
But it's unclear.
Yeah.
Why? To me, that just seems like
for sure.
Dear reader, he's projecting. I didn't take it as it's not
literal.
Yeah, right. Which
kind of the same thing.
Yeah, doesn't really matter, but
it's
not an important distinction. But
it was very interesting to me that a lot of the complaints of the 97 film were that Lolita was not she was too willing sort of. Like, it didn't, and a lot of it is like, first of all, not going to be able to portray that on film.
Right.
Like, in the book, I guess, it's very explicit that she's like raped, and like he like very timely, he like drugs her and stuff like that. To do that, he like states that he wants to get her pregnant so that when she's too old, he has another one to, things like that. Like, things are said, but I mean, again, I haven't read the book,
Right.
and I'm not saying like the movie's great and we should all watch it and it's a wonderful thing, but I find it very strange when adults complain that like the like almost like something that my mom told me when I was young was, because I was like, it was not a secret that like I was obsessed with like, it wasn't like a dirty secret that I had. I like wanted to, I was like, oh, I want to watch a movie with like, and I'm not going to go into detail because it's not my story to tell, but that happened to one of my siblings, like a older person. And I don't necessarily know that my parents didn't seem worried that it was going to happen to me, which is also telling because it never did. So they're like, yeah, we don't have to worry about you. No one is going to give a shit. And it's true. My mom, I was like saying like, I was like basically like asking my mom like a serious question, like if someone's in love with, if like a 30-year-old guy's in love with a 15-year-old, like why is that wrong?
Right.
And my mom said this thing, and you could poo-poo this all you want and you can poke holes in it. That's fine. But like it was the framing of my question that she was answering, not stating a fact.
How old were you at the time?
Probably 15, 14 or 15. No. And my mom said, if they really do love you, then they will wait for you. They're not going, if they can't, then it's not actually love.
Okay.
And that framing, I was like, oh, okay, that's an interesting thing because it's not saying that someone can't have feelings. It's not saying that those feelings don't exist or can't exist.
Right.
But it's the conscious choice that you make that actually determines whether or not your feelings are real or if you're just making excuses. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that like, so if you fall in love with a 15-year-old, it's fine just as long as you wait till she's 18. That's not, we know grooming's a thing. We know lots of people do wait. But the framing wasn't, it wasn't about like just blurting out, here's the rules for dating. It was like a direct answer to a question.
Right.
That,
Yeah. So it's something.
Had already impacted our family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's, this is not like the general consensus of like, well, as long as you wait till someone's 18, then it's fine. It wasn't like that,
Right.
I mean, yes, preferably at least, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway. And so that sort of thing where, with that sort of like knowledge of like, oh, like if they're incapable of waiting, that doesn't mean that they love you so much. It means that they don't give a shit about you.
Right.
Probably. It's more about a fetish. It's more about their wants, their balls, their dick, whatever. It's not about how much they love you, And so thinking about it, like reframing things like that, I would start to like be like, okay, well, like that sort of framing of something of like, if you really do care about someone, and it sort of ends in that note where Hubert is like, oh, I realize now that the tragedy wasn't that she wasn't with me anymore. It's that, I mean, he doesn't say it quite like this, but that he had taken the very thing from her that made him love her in the first place, Like her childhood and innocence was the thing that drew him to her, and that's the very thing that he took away. So it's sort of this thing of like your desire is what will destroy them,
Right.
you know. And I think that that's a very important framing, and that is something that, and the film says that. And I think it doesn't, this is something that that because when I was younger, my mom framed it that way of like, if they can't wait for you, they don't give a shit about you. I mean, she didn't say it like that, but like if they can't,
Yeah.
it's lust, it's desire. It's not about how much they care about you and how much they love you.
How much I love you, Island.
And then, so thinking about it like that, it's very funny to me how the film is demonized for like portraying Lolita as being like sexual or like making advances and stuff and kissing him and like doing all of these things. And they're like, the book never does that. And at the same time, they're talking about the whole thing is that he's an unreliable narrator. And so that you can understand that like these things might also be misconstrued as the viewer. I'm not saying they do the greatest job. Like, the critique is that they didn't do a good enough job.
Right.
But the one thing, like, there's a scene where Lolita or Dolores is in bed. And you were like, I don't understand what that's supposed to mean. Like, I don't understand this scene.
She turns the radio on.
She turns the radio on, and then she covers her head with a pillow.
Yeah.
And she's crying,
Yeah.
and he opens the door and looks, and then he closes the door. And from Reddit was like sort of like the Reddit thread I was looking at was talking about how that is a glimpse into the crack of his. You're seeing that is his narration faltering. Like you don't understand why that's happening because he has not been a reliable narrator. Yeah. So that is a scene that's actually happening. He is not explaining it because he probably doesn't understand it. Because in his mind, she loves him and she loves being with him.
Right.
So like this scene is confusing because, and there was a couple times when I was wondering if we were seeing him perceiving something that wasn't actually happening. Like the ice cream shop scene.
Yeah.
Made no sense to me because he's walking with her coat.
Yeah.
Sees her at the ice cream shop, buys her an ice cream. They don't talk. She's like, they don't say anything. She doesn't really say anything. He buys her an ice cream. She eats it. And then they go home, but he arrives home not with her. She's not wearing her jacket anymore that he gave her when she was in the ice cream shop.
I can't remember what the next scene.
And she's on the stairs waiting for him to come home. So I'm like, did the ice cream shop not happen? And that was his perception. And he imagined that she was asking him to take her away. Mm-hmm. And so he just does because he thinks that that's what she wanted because that's when they were happiest. Mm-hmm. So like, did that even happen? And like things like that where like there's, because like he's walking her home and it cuts from him walking her home to him going home and finding her there.
Right.
That makes no sense if that actually happened.
Right.
Because again, he's carrying her jacket. When he sees her at the ice cream shop, he gives her her jacket. She puts it on. She eats the ice cream. They start walking home. He gets home holding her jacket. She's not wearing it anymore, sitting on the stairs. And I said, oh, that was not, okay, something happened there. Mm-hmm. And like stuff like that where it's like we are being told that he's imagining things. Mm. And so her kissing him, and there's certain things that happen too, like and you could, like, they were like, I don't know personally, but they were saying like Adrian Lin, the director, wanted this to be a love story, wrote this as a love story, and so they're like, oh, this is, you know, terrible because blah blah blah. But I'm like, I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I'm like, you'd almost have to write it like that to explain, like, if you're just writing this creepy old man is doing all these things to this kid, people aren't going to be able to sit through it.
Yeah.
And writing it like a love story, you're not writing it like as an actual love story between the two of them. You're writing him thinking that it is a love story.
Right.
And that's still, and like, what was I going to say? Like the scene where she runs to kiss him, like she's going off to
Before
camp.
she goes to camp.
Yeah. She's in the car. She gets out, shuts the door, runs up the stairs, kisses him, runs back down the stairs, and the car door's open. So I'm like, and then she gets in, and then she's just watching him while she goes. Basically the same thing. So did that kiss actually happen? Like, those are things that are like, you don't necessarily know that they actually happened. And so they're like, she's being portrayed as like, you know, she's doing all these things to him. And yes, I'm not saying that they do a good job of like making him an unreliable narrator. They don't spell that out for you very well.
It's no Fight Club.
Right. But they do also things like the scene with Quilty when he's asking him all these questions. And he's like,
You mean at the end?
No. At the beginning, when he first meets Quilty.
Yeah.
Also, someone was like, she flirts with Quilty. I'm like, she's a child. She's not flirting with anybody. It doesn't matter. And like, there were like a lot of complaints were like very, very telling, because it shows that you are doing the thing that Hubert is doing. And the whole point, Hubert, I don't know what, it doesn't really matter, honestly. Hooper Humperdinck. I don't really give a shit. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying I'm not going to get it right because I've been trying last night during the movie, I was also getting confused because there's a scene where he gets his name wrong or something. And so I was
People
like, wait.
keep calling him the wrong name.
Yeah. So anyway, people were talking about how like the way she dresses in the film is provocative and the way she dresses is never addressed in the book at all. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So it's like very, very, it's very strange to me and very odd that the complaints seem to be that like Lolita doesn't seem childish enough. So it's like, I feel like she's an attractive young person. So this film is very strange and not a good telling of it. The point is to make you side with him so that you understand, and it not so that you understand why he does what he does and how much he loves her. So that at the end, when he's saying, oh, right, I'm the bad guy, you are stricken and horrified to come to that conclusion with him.
Yeah.
It's not, so it's very strange to me, especially like, this was like something, and that's one of the reasons why I flipped to the last page of the book, because I'm like, it says it. Like, it tells you. Why are people...
Well, but it is only that... I mean...
Yeah.
This is why I wanted to point to the framing of the publisher's note, because otherwise, that's all, as far as I could tell, that's all you get from him.
Yeah.
Is that those... I mean, I don't think that's true because, I mean...
Wait.
Yeah.
Which is all you... Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to start over, basically.
Okay.
You get the framing of the publisher's note, and you get that this is a confession.
Yes.
Humbert calls it a confession.
Uh-huh.
Of course, it's his depiction of things.
Yes,
It is
correct.
100% subjective.
Yes. Yes.
Can't not be.
Yeah.
And the book does everything to tell you this.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And I'm sure there's things sprinkled throughout.
Yeah.
The fact that it's framed, again, the fact that he's saying people of the jury
Yeah.
and that it's a confession, like, anyway, all I'm saying, I guess I sort of get it's kind of a blink
Yeah.
and you miss
Sure.
it.
For sure.
The most poignant thing was Lolita's absence from this choir of children's voices. You know, like that's his saying.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it all comes down to that one line. Like,
Yeah.
so, okay, I get if you
Right.
didn't get it on a first viewing or whatever.
What I heard then was the melody of children at play, nothing but that. And I knew that the hopelessly poignant thing was not Lolita's absence from my side, but the absence of her voice from that chorus.
I guess that's all I wanted to say about
Yeah.
it. And because that's all the movie really gives us.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Or this film adaptation.
Right. And to be clear, I'm not saying like a lot of criticism was that he seems not like basically the movie doesn't make him seem like the creep that he's made out to be in the book.
Uh-huh.
But in sort of the other side of that is like in the book Lolita is not a full character. She's completely like through his lens and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, and the movie does the same fucking thing. And the movie, this is something that like I like when watching it last night, I'm like, oh, I felt like they're doing a great job. They're doing an excellent job of making you feel uneasy about Quilty.
Uh-huh.
So you're like, oh, I don't want her to be with Quilty. I want her to be with and then, you know, he's doing things like, you know, he's encouraging her like to be silly and to act out and to be, you know, Hubert. He's doing all these things, you know, he's playing with her, like, you know, he's like, while she's reading comics, he's like, you know, having sex with her while she's doing these little he's letting her be a kid. He's letting her have this. And then, you know, with Quilty, she's talking about how basically he wanted to film a bunch of, you know, CSAM materials and shit. And she was like, oh, I don't want to do that. And so he kicked her to the curb and, you know, but Hubert, when he runs into her again, he's like, come with me. I'll take care of you and we can have a life together. And she says, I'd almost rather go back with Quilty.
Yeah.
So it is absolutely being framed as his perception of things.
Yeah.
He perceives himself as encouraging her
No, I mean,
youthfulness and being so, you know, he was taking her to school. But then, like, you get that sort of like, you know, when she starts basically like doing things, like the whole scene where he says they're like fighting. She's like, they're like both naked in bed and fighting over money. And he says, you can't change the price in the middle.
Yeah.
And so you're getting this whole, like, things like that are done to where, and I'm not trying to, like, you know, say, like, oh, he demeans her by making her do sex work. That's not what I'm saying. The point is that, like, she has learned that she can use him.
Yeah.
And his biggest fear, what he fears, is that she's saving up to leave him. why would he fear that if
Right.
she had a perfect life? Why
Right.
would he? So like there's all of these ways that it is portrayed, but I think what people aren't addressing about like the film and why it's so uncomfortable is that they're actively like making you tolerate this. They're actively choosing to portray it in a way that's sweet and gentle and you're like, "Oh," and that's the whole fucking point of it, is to show you that you can be completely like dehumanized to this. You can be completely complicit in this. And you won't even realize that. And so I think it's a very smart film, whether intentional, and it could be the same thing how what we talked about in The Professional, like that movie's good despite its intentions. The movie's good despite, and like the fact that I don't know how to say Jean Reno, like the fact that
Janet Reno.
Janet Reno, the fact that like the whole point of the movie is like Luc Besson is like writing this love story between a child and an adult man. And Jean Reno is like, yeah, I had to, in order to be able to I had to play the character in my head as someone who was completely asexual, who had never thought of sex, doesn't understand it, doesn't think about those things at all, so that I could like basically like palette playing that character. And like, so their relationship doesn't matter what Luc Besson intends. Jean Reno played it completely platonically. So, despite like Luc Besson literally trying to make like, smut, some weird like self-aggrandizing smut film, he made something that is like, what if an adult with a child brain, and a child with an adult brain, like, were friends. and it's, and people do fetishize it, of course. Why wouldn't they? But like something that like,
Well, yeah, no, this is one of my big takeaway from this is I have a vague memory of when this came out.
yeah.
And I remember being like, "Oh God, why are we still like Lolita had
sure.
a reputation,
For sure.
like I'd already heard of because there was controversy around the 1962 film.
Yes.
There's a controversy around the novel.
Yeah.
And it's all the same controversy.
Yes.
And it is the most ridiculous one is probably of the book because you just didn't read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I get it. It's the same thing as like the films.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like, oh, you didn't actually watch it. So I mean, like you can consume a work of art and misinterpret it.
Yeah.
I think in my early 20s version of thinking I was doing a feminism, it was like, why do we need to see this? We don't need more media that fetishizes
Right. Yeah.
Children.
Yeah.
Particularly AFAB.
Yeah.
Like bodies. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even know that. All I knew it was like people taught it, like the novel was supposed to be good and it was supposed to be, I had already by that age been like, well, fuck all, it was supposed to be great. So what? So is Tarantino.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Whatever. I mean, already not just, sure, I did have my blind spots and whatever, but just not accepting de facto that a great work of art is a great work of art because somebody told me.
For sure. Right. Yeah.
Or because. Anyway. But not understanding it's the confession of a pedophile.
Right. But like one of the critiques was like, they aged her up because she's supposed to be 12 in the book.
Right.
So they like aged her up to 14 and they're like, I guess to make it more palatable. And they're like, ew. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But then they're like, one of the things was basically saying like, they wish that it had been more like that you saw things from basically they're like, I wish that you could have seen things from Lolita's perspective. They're like, sure, it would have been NC-17 or like you might not even be able to like, get it produced. But like, I'm like, then what?
Exactly.
The whole
You make that
point.
movie then.
Yes,
like
I really wish we could have seen, like we could have seen things that we would not have been able to see. You do understand. This is something that's strange, though.
I wish I could have seen a
Yeah.
child sexual assault material.
Right, exactly.
What?
Right? Yeah. Right. It's like this thing where like I wish I don't think this is always the thing that like really sticks into my mind is that like the okay. I have to be careful how I say this because I don't want it to seem like I'm saying like any children provoke. But I know that things that happened to me as a kid, I was my curiosity was played on. So I
right.
wasn't horrified. I was excited to play. And then you find out that it was this dirty, bad thing. And you feel horrible. Right. And you're like, I didn't know. Like, if I'd have known, I wouldn't have done that, obviously. Right. Like, nobody told me. So the idea that kids have to be forced. And, I'm saying this as someone who has experienced things.
Right.
That they have to be coerced, that they're never going to be curious, or even worse, that they're never going to initiate.
Right.
Absolutely, kids will do things that are inappropriate, especially if they've already been abused.
Right.
That is fine. A child can act however it acts. The problem is if an adult is like, well, they came on to me. No, they didn't. They were a child. They don't understand.
Right.
So if the only way that you're able to perceive something as someone as being a victim is only when they are actively protesting.
Right.
And not
which is sort of
right. Like it as horrifying as it is. Things are, like sometimes they do things to make the kids feel good.
Yeah.
So they're not necessarily going to perceive it as something bad. And that doesn't mean that it's not bad. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with what the child is perception or like what they're doing. Like they're not bad in this scenario. The person exploiting them is bad. The person doing these things is bad. But to have an expectation that because you say like a child, and this is true, a child never cannot seduce you. A child cannot coerce you. A child cannot put the moves on you. And that's true. But people perceive that as being literal in the sense that like a child will never kiss you on the mouth. A child will never touch you inappropriately. A child will never, they don't know what they're doing is the point.
right.
They don't have a perception of what the dangers are, of what is going on. What it's saying is that is not like a child cannot ever consent. Therefore, a child cannot ever seduce you.
Right.
You are a grown up. You are an adult. So the onus is always on you.
Yeah.
To guide the situation where it's supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know how to say this where it's not going to sound like I'm saying like, kids will try to seduce you. That's not what I mean. But what I'm saying is like the idea that you have to portray a victim only as completely and utterly disgusted and horrified about the things that they're experiencing. It means that you have a perception of this that is not necessarily factual, because even if it's just like you get used to it also. Maybe you're not into it, but you know the routine, you do it, whatever.
Right.
You're never going to have it done in a way that's going to, like, there's no such thing as a perfect victim, meaning that what they experience is not going to be, and like how they respond to it is not going to be necessarily even how you think they would. Mm-hmm. And when somebody is harmed like that, when someone is, and truthfully, a lot of times, not, like, Hubert, his character, he probably perceives her as a nymphette because she has been abused. So she is exhibiting behaviors, because a lot of times perpetrators of these things understand, like, they see the signs, they see
Oh, yeah.
all of these things. And likewise, like, something that, like, I truly wish people understood, and this is something that's like, this is like extremely hard for people to seem to grasp, is that like CSAM, like, okay, for example, the book Lolita is not CSAM.
Right.
It is fictional. It is depicting somebody doing something bad to a child. No one in the book is real. No CSAM has occurred.
It's a book also.
Yes, right. It's a book. But nothing has occurred. But people will refer to it as that.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand
Because
what
it
means.
depicts.
Yes, exactly. Because it depicts something. It's not actually happening. There is no CSAM. Even in the movie, there is no CSAM because no one, like, there was body doubles anytime there was nudity or, like, sex, like, overt sex scenes, because Dominique Swain was only 15.
Okay.
So, nothing was happening in the movie, right? So, with that being said, people will see this and, like, can somebody watch this movie and utilize it as something to encourage their pedophilic kink or whatever? Sure. But people think that things like this encourage people. That movies like this or books like Lolita are
Right.
what are encouraging people. And they seek out, and it's sort of like this loop that happens where people will be like, they'll start seeing it everywhere. Like, oh, the pornification of children. I need you to understand that like the whole point at the end where whatever, where he says the tragedy wasn't that Lolita was not by my side, it's that she wasn't in the chorus of children. And that's the point. The places that your children are in danger are not going to be fetish sites and porn sites and places where people are doing age play or where people are having consensual things with adults where maybe they're saying inappropriate stuff. I don't fucking know. Whatever. I don't care. The places where your children are most in danger from pedophiles, monsters, are places where it is fine for your kids to play without an adult there. And this is a great time to talk about the over 20 million cases of CSAM that has been found on Facebook and Meta and WhatsApp, right? All of the Meta apps, because Telegram is another one where this is happening, right? And you don't think of those, and people don't want to talk about that. But they'll bring up, like, censoring, like, never showing the movie Lolita, but will not think that Facebook is a place that you need to be actively keeping an eye on your kids, right? Because it's a place where your grandma is. It's a place where family members are. Likewise, things like this movie is a good example, sort of like, who is the person in this that took her and did all of these things to her? Her father. Granted, he is her stepfather, but he's her father, okay? He is not a stranger. Yes, Quilty, eventually takes her to whatever. But this is another example of he knows what's going on. He sees it. He recognizes it. She becomes a target. This is also how these things happen. It's not some stranger that comes and grabs your kid in a fucking Walmart parking lot. It's the person, it's your uncle's friend. It's your cousin. Yeah, your uncle. There's a lot of instances, it's a lot of times family members, because they're trusted. They are,
Well, I mean,
they have access.
yeah.
And so this sort of idea that it's always going to be a stranger, it's always going to be someone that you don't expect. I mean, yeah, it'll always be someone that you don't expect, but like, it's always going to be someone that you don't know, some stranger that you have to be looking over your shoulder at, these strange people that you've never seen before, keeping an eye on, marking an X on your child's shoe at Walmart or some dumb shit so you can stop them from, like, there's all kinds of like dumb shit, like furniture stores, or like hiding kids in like cabinets and then, taking them across state lines to, traffic children and shit like that. And it's like, no, your cousin is doing that. Like,
Right. And to that point, it's, I don't want to call it grooming, because that's been purposefully, that term has been muddied.
Yeah, for sure.
The framing you're talking about is like to overemphasize some abstract concept of love.
Yeah.
The primacy, the
Yeah.
importance of family.
Yeah.
Well, and thus, and also the stuff you're talking about, the literal xenophobia of like a stranger.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
root of the word.
Yeah.
Goes in line with white supremacy and all these other things, but to prioritize these things where family's safe, home is safe,
Right.
everything else is danger, potential danger,
Yes.
rather than just, you have to be explicit about what sex is, what consent is,
Yeah.
which I think most people in our culture,
Yeah.
by which I mean the Western hegemony, the fucking Anglosphere, the global North, all these things, Western Empire, consent is purposefully obfuscated.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
For lots of reasons.
Yes.
Not just
Oh, for sure, yeah.
sexual predation against children.
Yeah, right.
Which turns out is pretty fundamental to
Yes.
Western civilization.
Yep.
So that's all. I just want to say,
Right.
It's all connected, man.
Yeah. But this is another thing that brings it back to like church. Like you're like, church is a safe place for kids, and like church is a place.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It is absolutely the
Right.
opposite of that.
And
I also, there's a, you all know this type of person that stops at saying all organized religion is bad.
Yeah.
If it's from a Western origin, sure.
Right. Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Broad generalization.
Yeah.
But it is very clear to me now, I feel,
Yeah.
that was challenged for me when I was like a late teen and getting into Buddhism, as a fucking
Yeah.
white guy hippie or whatever, like. And I know Buddhism has been weaponized.
Yeah.
Like any other.
Yeah. For sure.
Like
Absolutely.
many other religions, let's say. But that is, again, like the origins of most religious practices, that is a perversion of main tenets.
Yeah.
You can say, for instance, that Protestant Christianity at this point has nothing worth saving.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
But I also want you to I want you to examine your Islamophobia
Yeah, for sure.
that you've just absorbed by being
Right,
in
right.
the society.
Right. Yes, yes, yes.
Especially right
Yeah.
now, I'm
Right.
asking you for that. If you're our age, if you lived through 9/11, it's much older than that, but
Absolutely.
especially
Yeah.
at this moment, meaning
Yes.
the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, end of that.
Yeah.
I just want, and also learn the history of. I mean, I don't know this history much at all, but liberation theology
Yeah.
was something that utilized Catholicism, I think, primarily in
Yeah.
Latin American colonies, or like it was a way to organize people against Western imperialism
Yeah.
under the gaze of Western imperialism, right? And to combat liberation theology was exported evangelical Christianity, preaching prosperity gospel, personal,
Right.
all this stuff that we associate in the West with all the disgusting parts of Christianity.
Yeah.
And you don't have to look further than the civil rights movement here to see that a lot of organizing happened in churches because they could.
Yeah,
because,
yeah, yeah,
quote,
for sure,
we
for sure.
have freedom of religion here.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay.
What I something that I want to emphasize, like when I talk about like things like Facebook, and like the point being, like, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, amount of like CSAM that's existed on, that they've found on, and the confusion around like the reason why I bring up things like porn sites and is because censorship would harm adults consenting to whatever kink or fetish that they're consenting to, right? And it's becoming extremely, like, as someone who creates fetish content, there are sites that you can't say little on anymore. You can't say you can't there's so many things you can't mention the word sleep.
Right. As you point
can't-
out, sites that host
Yes.
sexually explicit material are much more.
Yes, they are, and to the point that, like, you would, the censorship that would be happening on those sites would not be the same censorship that is happening on a site like Facebook.
Right. It's much more.
Yes, because people don't understand what can be people will post their children online. People will have entire social medias based on their children, and think that that's fine, without understanding that actual predators are some of the people that are excited to be following and interacting with your child.
Yeah.
There are plenty of times where children have been messaging adults on Facebook and adults are asking them very inappropriate things. Nothing is happening. Why? Because you don't think that you need to be aware of something like that because it's Facebook. Things like that don't happen on Facebook, right? Things like that don't happen on
But it's far
Instagram.
less.
Because it's not policed, because you don't think you have to, because in your mind.
Well, they also don't do it.
Yes.
Porn sites have to.
Yes. Yes, they have to regulate these things.
Yeah.
They are expected to. It's very interesting to me because one of the main reasons why porn sites have to is because of payment processors. Payment processors will not work with these sites at all if they do anything. Like you can't host any, like, you obviously you can't do anything illegal. You can't have non-consensual content. You can't have CSAM. You can't have things like that. Very, very clear cut, very simple. I know that I heard, like people often use, it's very funny. People talk about Pornhub having like abuse material on it. And it did and possibly can, but a few years back, there was a crackdown and they deleted like thousands. I think it was like 170,000 things of like, different content that was not, okay. Maybe CSAM was in there somewhere. I'm not sure. Compare 170,000 to 20 million though. You know what I mean? And I've only heard the sort of criticism of that in the sense of like, well, they didn't do that before. Like, why hadn't they done that before? Very recently, I was reading something where someone said they were not, the reason why that hadn't happened prior to that was because they had not been given the resources to do that.
What?
To take down that much content at once.
I'm sorry, I got lost.
Pornhub took that amount of content off at once because they had been given the resources to do that, whereas they had not had them before.
Thank you.
So that is why it had not happened before then, because they did not have the resources to do that. I don't know. It was phrased better than that. I'm not phrasing it as good. Meta began no longer reporting after I think 2023 when they'd had 7 million cases that they knew about, and they decided to no longer I was like reading something. I didn't really understand what they were talking about, but like the metrics that they were using to track, they were getting rid of. So they were like, oh, cool. And people and like internal memos had been leaked where people were like, great. So the problem's going to get worse. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So think about that. The people that have the resources to do that won't use them, won't utilize them, and don't care.
Won't use your resources.
The people that don't have the resources, when given them, immediately take care of the issue.
As far as I know, Pornhub is a pretty good rep as far as.
I mean, they really, you can't. They purchased, I think it was Pornhub.
Oh yeah.
They Alexis Arquette, when
Right.
she passed, her partner was selling like her some sex tapes for money because her partner didn't have money, and Pornhub purchased it and destroyed it.
Yeah.
And that, to me, I was like, that's amazing because
If I remember right, too, they were like one of the first to disallow revenge porn. I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
That's sort of vague to know.
I don't know what to call it. It should not be referred to as that. But
No, I know.
Yeah, it's like abuse material, I think is what it's called. But like it's commonly known as, quote, revenge porn, but it's not something like, it's not porn because it's not ever consensually made or consensually distributed. So,
Right.
Yeah. But it's hard to when the like colloquial term is something,
right.
probably it's sort of like calling it child porn. Like people call it that, but that's not what it is.
It should not be called porn.
It's not porn. It isn't. It's not that it shouldn't be called that. It quite literally is not. Because by definition, pornography is consensually made,
Right.
and a child cannot
Oh,
consent
try
to it.
saying that to a woman.
And children cannot consent. So therefore, nothing
Right.
that a child does could ever be porn because they can't consent. And so it's things like that, I think, that are very important, that a lot of times people will, like, the most adamant, like, pedophile haters will use terms like CP openly. And when you say, hey, don't use that because that's really, really fucked up. And one of the reasons why it's fucked up is it normalizes the idea that this could be something pornographic. When it's not pornographic, it's abuse material. Like, pornographic means something that's erotic, something that is,
Well,
you know.
It's describing how it's used rather than how it was made.
Correct. Yes. And right. And so it's like that. It's and when they are told, do not use this, they're like, that's stupid. That's dumb. That's what it is.
Then they
that's
become
what I'll call it.
Free speech absolutists.
Right. And you're like, but this isn't about, it's not even about, like, it's about the victims of this. They don't want it to be called that.
Yeah.
So why are you doing that? You know?
No, that's where.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
No, I know. And again, the reason why I wanted to bring this movie into the zeitgeist to watch it, discuss it, is because I think it is important.
Tea Party zeitgeist.
It is very important to make yourself uncomfortable, to have discussions, to have conversations. And I think that, like, one of the main things that people really want to get around, and this is something that, like, people are very divided on, but ultimately what is going to keep your child safe from predators, from people, is active monitoring of their internet usage. It doesn't mean that you have to read all of their messages. It doesn't mean that you have to invade their privacy. You have to be aware at all times what the kids locks on their fucking shit. Like, there are so many fucking things you can do.
And teach them about consent
and
be explicit about
comprehensive sex education.
Yeah.
There is and
be ready to understand that maybe you have some learning to do about your thoughts on those things.
Right. And people will fight those two things, which are so important. You want to have kids, but you don't want to watch what they're paying attention to on the internet. And you want to keep an eye on, you don't want to keep an eye on what they do, on who they talk to, on the sites that you don't want to do that. Why are you giving them access to the internet? Like, there will be times, like, this is something that's, like, so fucking important. Like, there will be times when a kid will be shown something inappropriate. And if they don't feel like they can come to you with it, they are in danger. Mm-hmm. As long as a kid feels like they can't tell you that they've been shown something inappropriate, as long as a kid doesn't feel like they can tell you they've been touched inappropriately, as long as they feel like they cannot come to you with that, they are at risk of that happening to them. And if you cannot have an open discussion with your child, they will not have an open discussion with you.
Exactly. And you know that, I mean, hopefully it's maybe less so for a lot of white liberals, I guess, but, like, the terror of the fear of getting in trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't have to mean you're going to get hit. You're going to get spanked. It doesn't mean you're going to get yelled at even.
Yeah.
It's such a... Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't... Yeah, your education on these things should not be shame-based.
Fucking A, man.
If it's shame-based, they're not going to come to you when something shameful happens. They're not going to come to you when they're scared. They're not going to come to you when they're embarrassed. They're not going to come to you when they're confused. They're not going to come to you when they're hurt. Because you have led them shame first. This is bad. This isn't. And, like, even discussions about porn. Like, literally, like, parents will be like, porn's bad. Porn's awful. Porn's great. Tell them what it is, though. Like,
exactly.
People, like there are, like, I've seen so many times, I've seen people give examples of, like, how to have these discussions with kids, and they're like, say, you know how there's movies that, you know, they're fighting or they're, you know, jumping off of a bridge or, you know, they're doing all these things, but they're professionals. They're doing that. And you know that it's not real, but it feels real and it looks real. The same thing happens with adults doing adult things. They have movies. And those
great
movies aren't for kids. And if you ever happen to see them, they're not made for you, so they might make you feel uncomfortable. And you might, you know, you'll just need to tell me, like, if you ever see them, just let me know and we can have a discussion about it. And so that you're not telling them, you're telling them this isn't made for you. You're not going to feel good if you watch it. It's not going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel bad. But if you do happen to see it, let's have a conversation. So you're telling them it's not made for them, that it's not going to feel good. So it's not going to make them, like, it's not necessarily going to make them curious. You know, it's going to be like, you know how, and you can even do shit
Right.
like, you know how, like, when I eat like this, how I like dark chocolate and you think it tastes gross. It's kind of like that. Like, you're not going to like it. It's not going to be something that you think is fun. Like, you know, you could even, you know, like, there's so many ways to go about that conversation of, like,
Yeah.
sometimes adults like gross things and you shouldn't, you know, it's not, you don't need to be around them. You know, like, you don't need to see it. You don't need to eat dark chocolate if you don't like dark chocolate, you know? So these movies aren't made for you. You don't need to watch them. Like, anything that's, like, just as simplistic as, you know, you don't have to be like, let's have a discussion on, you know, even consent is like, hey, you don't, like, you have a say over, you know, like, like, this is a big one when people, like, you know, when your kid doesn't want to hug a relative and you make them hug a relative, you're actively teaching them that consent doesn't matter, especially theirs. So that's
Right.
actively harming
It's
them.
the prime's family is more important.
Exactly. And so, you know, but the main thing that I wanted to talk about is, like, the importance of a film like this, the importance of a book like this is not that it is, not even that it's beautifully written, but that it does make you feel bad. Because sometimes you need to feel bad in order to make sure that you can keep people safe, in order to make sure that you are addressing the issues that you have within yourself.
It's discomfort.
Yes.
People are unwilling to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have to, your comfort comes as a price,
Yeah.
as it comes
At a price.
at a price. Thank you. That has already been paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're comfortable
Yes.
because someone else is not.
Yes. Correct. Absolutely.
And so to
Yeah.
start combating that, you have to face uncomfortable
Yeah.
truths.
Right. And, like, I think, you know, it was so, like, wild to me to read, like, all these people being like, the reason why this movie isn't good is because, like, you know, Dominique Swain is, like, so, like, sexualized in the movie. And so, and I'm like, I don't feel that way.
I want to talk about that
Yeah.
in particular because, especially, it helps that it's in the context of these other two movies we watched so far,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
where, I guess in both cases they are pubescent.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
still children, but their
Yeah.
bodies have.
They're roughly the same age. They're all the same age. Because in Crush, she was like 14,
it's
about
supposed
to
to be
be
14.
15.
You're right.
In Intimate Relation, she was 13 and 14.
Okay.
And in this one, she was 14.
Right, but in the book, 12.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes.
So, and here, and this is really I don't think I wrapped up what I was trying to say. Was I wish I had seen this earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or examined, let's
Yeah.
say,
Yeah, right.
the source material,
Mm-hmm.
and not just presumed it was one like one of the first in a long line of fetishizing
Right. Yeah.
that kind of relationship with a male gaze sexualizing a child,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's definitely it's about that,
For sure.
but
Yeah.
it's already on a different level than
Yeah.
all the conversations about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And instead of retelling it, all the things I thought were copies of Lolita, or are actually the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I did myself a disservice by not.
For sure. Yeah.
But I wanted to say about this version that I feel like, other than things like, and these are all debatable, right? Like you're saying, they're all tells.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like the only time I felt like I was being my, let's say, sexuality, I guess,
Yeah.
was being attempted to be played upon.
Yeah.
Were things like her makeup.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first time he sees her, she's soaking wet.
Yeah.
In a see-through
Yeah.
garment.
Yeah.
So, but that's more about his gaze.
Exactly.
In the first, but so otherwise, I want to say, compared to every other film that deals with an age-inappropriate relationship of this gender configuration,
Yes.
compared to every other version of that I've seen, this film does everything it can
Yeah.
to desexualize her, or not to desexualize her exactly, to show that she is a child.
Yes.
Every time we get Humbert, this voiceover about her and his love for her and everything, then we then get a scene of her behaving very much like an awkward tween.
Yeah.
She's wearing one fucking sneaker.
Yeah.
She's
when she's running up the stairs and like a fucking dork.
Yes.
Oh my god! Like she's like, it looks like a fucking
and
nerd.
there's just everything.
Yes.
The first
When
time
she's
she comes in
opening
his
the
room
door at the gas station or whatever,
Yes.
she's like trying to, and this is like after they've just fucked, and she's like opening the door. She looks like a fucking dork. Like there's nothing about her, which
very
is why,
awkward.
Yes, it's like and those things. I don't think I really noticed them in that way before, but like watching this time, I'm like, oh my god, it's so obvious that she's a fucking kid. She's not operating. She's not moving through the world. Like she owns her sexuality. She does not think of herself in that way. Like when she's fucking lugging her luggage, her luggage, she's bringing it up and she's like, hey, Dad, like nothing about it is sexual. And then he's just like, oh my God, there she is. And it's like, ew.
Yeah.
Like what?
No, yeah. I mean, yes, it could have done more, I guess. But
For sure.
Again, like compared to any other film with that dynamic.
Right. This is why I'm like so confused by like all of the like things being like, he's not shown as an unreliable narrator and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, she acts like a petulant child so much in the movie.
Absolutely.
And she like.
Yeah, it's not just how her. Like, it's not her not only her physicality, the fact that she basically throws tantrums. I mean, you can have analysis about like, trauma.
For sure.
And
for
PTSD
sure.
and so forth. But her change of, her attention changes.
Yeah. When he confronts her about her not going to her piano lessons and she's like, oh golly gee, she's like, well, like she's lying, but like it's like she doesn't know how,
right?
Because she's a fucking kid.
How are the piano lessons going?
Fine. Great. Excellent. Wonderful. True. Perfect.
Especially since you missed the last two. Where were you?
Where was I? Well, I should have told you before. I was in the park. I was rehearsing a play with Mona.
That's your story.
That's what I was doing.
Okay. Give me Mona's phone number.
Mona's phone number?
Come on, Lo, just give me Mona's phone number.
Boston 57241.
I thought this one was really brought. I mean, I already felt this from the get, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought, oh wow, this is really different
Yeah.
compared to how I thought it was.
Yeah,
be,
yeah, for sure,
but also compared to everything else.
Yeah.
But the first scene we get where he agrees to give her money,
Yeah.
where she, it's the function of the scene is that she has figured out how to
Yes. Leverage.
yes, his perversion.
Yeah.
I don't know. His I don't want to say
Predilection.
yeah. The word I want is escaping me, but anyway, you get it. Is you see her rubbing her hand up his thigh repeatedly, right? And her knuckles are dirty.
Yeah.
'Cause she's a child
Yep.
who doesn't bathe and she plays in dirt.
Yeah, yeah,
Like she's often barefoot and dirty.
yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Feet are dirty. Like the reason how he figures out that she's gone and
Yeah, is that she's got like her makeup's messy and her
Yeah.
feet are dirty.
right, which is another way. It's also like she's not good at
Yeah.
Deception.
She doesn't understand. Yeah. She's not aware. She's not aware of her surroundings or whatever. Yep. I've developed a migraine, so I know I don't understand. Yeah, that's the thing. I think it drives me kind of crazy that people don't realize that like it doesn't matter what she's wearing. It doesn't matter how she operates. It doesn't matter if, her leg brushes up against him, even if she like kisses him, it doesn't matter. The fact that she's a child means that she's not able to be party to any of the things that occur. And so I think in a lot of ways it does something. It's daring in that it gives you a glimpse into his perception of her. I think that that's a very dangerous, very scary place to go.
right.
And you let yourself, and then you condemn the movie because of it. Well, it's not like the book, because in the book, you know that he's a bad guy. Mm-hmm. In the movie, you do too. I hate to break it to you, but your sympathy of him, your confusion is why he's not portrayed as bad as he is in the book. Two reasons. One, because it's a movie, it's not a book, so there's a lot of things that they have to cut out. Two, you probably couldn't, there's a lot of things that they actively didn't want in there because they didn't want him. They wanted him, like all of his negative things. They needed, like in the trivia, they were like, it was like one of the scripts was like too close to the book. So they said his character wasn't, like there was no redeeming qualities about his character. Uh-huh. So like they're like, this isn't going to make a good movie because you're not going to have,
That's the narrative question, like
right. And
I think about it a lot.
Well, I'm not saying that like that, that's a choice that is made.
Absolutely.
But like, if you're thinking of like it was the person saying that they wish that there was a POV of all the bad things that he'd done from her perspective, even though it's probably wouldn't have ever gotten made. Hello, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
I actually wish that they'd done something that would have been not allowed to be made. So we never would have seen it anyway.
And then I probably couldn't stomach to watch.
Exactly.
And
would
have complained about it anyway.
But I think that, like, I personally think, and, even if the director made it as a love story, it doesn't matter because you're still telling the story of a man who abducts a child that he just happens to have legal right to because of stupid laws. And
So-
he calls her a nymphette, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it makes me so uncomfortable because that right there, just him calling her a nymphette, immediately I'm like, there we go. That is him immediately
Yeah.
taking his own, like, it's not him, it's her.
Right.
She's the, and
Yeah,
what he
there's a whole
says-
little section about the nymphette is like this.
But he's also like, you would think that someone's going to pick out like the most, like,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
it's something, and it's so slimy.
Yeah.
A normal man, given a group photograph of schoolgirls and asked to point out the loveliest one, will not necessarily choose the nymphette among them. You have to be an artist, a madman, full of shame and melancholy and despair, in order to recognize the little deadly demon among the others. She stands, unrecognized by them, unconscious herself of her fantastic power.
And I'm like, how do you watch that and listen to that and think that he is being portrayed as an innocent or like not bad? I'm like, the whole point is to make you feel like he is a normal fucking person because that is who these people are. And what I mean by normal person is like, you're not gonna, it's not
Your friends and
someone-
neighbors.
Yeah, it's not going to be someone with like, you know, balding with a really disgusting 3 hairs slicked over in a comb over, him dressing like
Yeah.
he's from 1975, even though he's only 22 years old, and like,
Well,
you know,
that was me
with a
when I was 22.
mustache, and you know, combing through it and somehow always combing something out of it, and then just being like, you know, really like hanging around playgrounds, like just staring at children. Everybody's like, well, that's obviously a pedophile. That's probably just some autistic guy that doesn't actually know that there are kids there. He's just calculating, you know, how long it took to build the playground.
Yeah.
The guy you have to worry about is the guy that's like,
Jerry Seinfeld.
fuck, I wish I could cut it there. We've already gone like what, fucking 2 hours.
I don't care. I mean, this is going to be the heart of the month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
You're welcome.
no, I'm very glad we watched this
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
all these reasons
Yeah.
because it's I just had such a different
Yeah.
and
Right.
I am an example of what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the age I was when
Yeah.
it came out, I'm like, oh, gross. Why are we making a movie about this?
Exactly. Right.
Okay, so why are we? You know, like that is what I was going to say. Why would someone choose to make an adaptation of the book?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't Nabokov write the book the way that he did?
Yeah.
I mean, you can try to interrogate them, but I think it's better to interrogate the text.
Yeah.
But ask the question. Actually, ask the question. You know, like I'm not just say the question, but to follow it up with trying to answer it, finding
Right.
I mean, you know, it could be that Luc Besson is just a pedophile,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's trying to justify it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That may be the case for a lot of these movies.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Like,
It's not impossible.
yeah.
Okay, why is it so prevalent?
Yeah. Right. And like people will be like, oh, like it's sort of like, I mean, timely that I spotted the fucking Alex Jones shit where he's talking yesterday
Oh,
where
yeah.
he's like a Tim and Eric sketch that's very obviously like, I mean, I'm not saying it's tasteful or like it's something that I would have enjoyed watching, but it's
Yeah.
like, it's a like very obviously fake and sort of like, you know, there you can have a child clown for your party And then the whole thing is like, it keeps going and they're like, we got shut down, but now we operate in international waters because you can do anything. And Alex Jones is like, they're making a sketch about this, but it's really like basically his whole thing is like, they're making a sketch about it because this is what they support, which is hilarious to me. And that's sort of, it's like this movie, there is some satire, or maybe not satire, but there is some humor in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the humor is from like Dolores and her behavior and like how she acts, how she, sort of isn't aware of how she's supposed to be behaving and all of these things, And I think that that's a very interesting thing to, like, seemingly the complaint is that, like, in the book, she's, like, not a real person. Mm-hmm. All things, she's turned into a completely sort of, I mean, I haven't read it, but, like, people that, like, the way that it's described is that, like, she's just talked about, like she's never, and in the movie they make her real, they make her cry, they make her upset, they make her scream and mad and fight and all of these things, and it's like, why, like, it's almost like the discomfort is that she's a real person that this is happening to.
Right. No, and I think that's literally it, because it's like, well, that's my discomfort with it.
Exactly.
With a lot of this, again, to me, it's the question of why do we need to see violence against women?
Yeah.
Now, I think the same thing about, like, I mean, I'm not as good at doing this because this is the first one that I learned to do,
Yeah.
I have more practice, but it's like, okay, why do I need to see violence against black bodies?
Yeah.
Why do I need to see the things that are enacted systemically?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
In a fantasy version.
Yeah.
That probably, at the very least, desensitizes me to the real version.
Yeah.
Anyway, etc.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a real question.
For sure.
And I think it's a real conversation you have to have with yourself ongoing.
Yeah.
With every piece of media.
Yeah, for sure.
Or should.
Sure.
I'm not saying I'm doing that. Of course, I watch things that I don't watch critically.
Yeah.
Or put on things that I don't watch critically just to have on things. So, I'm just saying, you have to... Eventually, I will have to stop doing this because there's no real... I won't be able to continue to defend my consumption of Western media. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to read this. When prompted in a 1967 interview with the person saying this, quote, your sense of the immorality of the relationship between Humbert, and Lolita is very strong. In Hollywood and New York, however, relationships are frequent between men of 40 and girls very little older than Lolita. They marry to no particular public outrage, rather public cooing. Mm-hmm. He replied, no, it is not my sense of immorality of Humbert-Lolita the Humbert-Lolita relationship that is strong. It is Humbert's sense. He cares. I do not. I do not give a damn for public morals in America or elsewhere. And anyway, cases of men in their 40s marrying girls in their teens or early 20s have no bearing on Lolita. Humbert was fond of, quote, little girls, not simply, quote, young girls. Nymphets are girl children, not starlets and, quote, sex kittens. Lolita was 12, not 18, when Humbert met her. You may remember that by the time she is 14, he refers to her as his, quote, aging mistress. Nabokov described Humbert as, quote, a vain and cruel wretch who manages to appear touching later in the same interview. When asked about coming up with Humbert's doubled name, he described it as, quote, a hateful name for a hateful person. It is also a kingly name, and I did need a royal vibration for Humbert the fierce and Humbert the horrible. And in the publisher's note at the beginning, he says in his notes you can see that he played with other names like Otto, like so. That's the only reason I was a little picky about it, because it's very much made a thing in the book.
Yeah.
That's the name he chose for himself.
Yeah.
And that obviously Nabokov was very intentional about it.
No, yeah. I'm just bad with names. Is all.
No, I've never been clear about it. I didn't think it was doubled. I thought it was like Hubert Humperdinck or something like that. Hubert Humpert.
I honestly
I thought
was
they were
like,
just very close.
I was the other day when we were going to watch it, I was like, oh, his name's like Hubert Humperdinck. I'm like, nope, that's a book. That's a book. Not this one.
Jerry Dorsey.
Anyway, would you recommend?
If you want to deal with all the shit we just talked about in your own self,
Yeah.
I think, like I said, I wish I had understood more about the source material much earlier than just now finding it out yesterday and today.
Yeah. Like,
I think, and like I said, I think I didn't say it this way, but I think one of the most interesting things about it is what the film tries to do to subvert Humbert's narrative. Mm-hmm. And in particular, things we were describing with Lolita's physicality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in the confrontation with Quilty is amazing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, that's why I wanted you to watch it.
No,
That's what.
And I get it.
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely, I recommend this as something that you. Like, I would definitely recommend watching it, and I would definitely recommend examining, like, the things that you're uncomfortable with and the things that you're not, and why, or where, if you're like, oh, I don't like the way Lolita, I don't like how Dolores is portrayed. How is she portrayed? Because, like we're saying, like, she is very much a child in it. Mm-hmm. And then, when sexual things are happening, she somehow magically knows everything. And so it's like, oh, interesting. How, what makes that happen? Like the things, where he says, like, ladies of the jury or whatever, I was not even her first lover.
Yeah, right.
That's never explained. So let's just say, meaning she says she does stuff with Charlie. Right. That doesn't mean that he was her first. It doesn't mean that things had not been happening to her entire childhood.
Right.
It doesn't mean that her knowledge or her comfort with this comes at her just being a super sexual, it doesn't mean that she's actually an infet. It means why
we also don't know how old Charlie is.
Yeah.
It's a girls' summer camp.
Yep. Yes.
That he works at. We never see him either.
Yes.
So.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But this is it. This is what I'm saying. Like, a lot of the things, like, that people are like, oh, well, she's done things before. The fucking what? She's 14. It doesn't matter what she's done before. How has she done these things before? Who has done them to her? These are things that are, like, not being addressed. It's just being, like, taken in the way that that Humbert, whatever, wants you to,
Yeah.
which is the whole fucking point that is being missed when you're saying like, oh, she's too sexualized in the movie. She's too like, yeah, duh. Like that's the
Right.
point is that she's a child. So how are we supposed to think that this sexualization of her is not the like in the scene where she's like dancing,
Yeah.
and she is not.
No, exactly.
It's so gawky and awkward,
Yes,
and he's
and
like
that's the
losing his
point.
fucking shit
Yeah.
over watching her do this.
Yeah.
It's not sexy at all. There's nothing.
It's to the point it's almost comical, right? Like you want to laugh at it.
Yes, and you do because it's ridiculous.
Right, but yeah, right, and that's the insidiousness of it.
Right, and like it's but the fact that it happens right after they're like zooming in on like they're on the porch
Right.
swing and her leg is like slightly touching his and she's like nuzzled up to him and stuff like that, and then she's going inside and it's like to me things like that are like cracking the facade
Right.
of like, oh, she's coming on to me, and then she goes in and she's dancing like someone that has absolutely no.
Like no one is watching.
Well, no,
I'm
it's
just
it's
kidding.
like someone that's not actually aware of their own body.
Right.
Someone who's Keith is having trouble with his little microphone.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah, I would definitely recommend it for the act of making yourself uncomfortable and asking yourself why you might feel a certain way about this. Why if you don't like the way Dolores / Lolita is portrayed, like what about it? Like if she's too sexualized, where is she being sexualized? Is she only being sexualized during these moments with Humbert, whatever? Like there's a lot of things that I think are awkward and uncomfortable about this film that are very important to watch, to make yourself uncomfortable with. And if you're pro getting rid of something like this because it makes you uncomfortable, why?
Yeah, and even like things about why is it okay? Why do we think it's more socially acceptable? Why do we think they had to do this to get past the censors?
Yeah.
To make her 14 rather than 12.
Yeah.
Why is 14 better?
Yeah. Like there's so many things that's like
I want to. This is mostly as much for you as anything else. Anybody else, I should say. Other films directed by Adrian Lyne. Mm-hmm. You may have heard of. His previous film before Lolita was Indecent Proposal.
okay. All right.
Before that, Jacob's Ladder.
Oh.
Before that, Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
Before that, 9.5 Weeks.
Amazing.
And in 1983, a little film called Flashdance.
Okay. I knew about Fatal Attraction because that was mentioned in the trivia. But yeah, yeah. And just to bring things back to why we brought up the church is because there's a lot of talk of censoring media. And people are alarmingly being more pro media censorship. And what that would mean is that books like this would not exist. Or if they were created, that we would say that they shouldn't exist, right?
Uh-huh.
In Australia, someone wrote a book. I don't know a lot about it, but I think it either has to do with age play or it's just an age play fantasy book, and they were arrested. And that is not okay. And you can say, well, these things shouldn't exist, but those things are fake. Those things aren't real. And you have to ask yourself, wow, that was loud. And you have to ask yourself, what makes you think that like your discomfort at fictional harm is fine. You don't have to want to read things. You don't have to want to keep your nose in it, especially if you have trauma, things like that. You don't have to want to read it. It doesn't make it real. It doesn't make Lolita is not a true telling of something that happened to someone.
Right.
Lolita didn't really happen. Lolita is not CSAM. It can't be because no real people are involved. It is a fictional story about a fictional thing, but it is talking about something real and prevalent that that happens. So the question is not, how do we get rid of this fake stuff? How do we get rid of the fictionalization of it? Because fictionalization can happen from someone dealing with their own trauma. Fictionalization can be someone trying to talk about the horrors of it, like Nabokov did. Nabokov did not write Humbert, that guy, to be a happy-go-lucky dude that everybody wants to act like, right? He wrote a monster, and that was the intention. But some people read it and they have empathy for Hubert.
Well, there's
And I just want to finish what I'm saying. That doesn't mean that they're reading it the correct way, and it doesn't mean that the book should get burned. It doesn't mean that any retelling of it should be destroyed, because it all is fiction. It's all fictionalized, right? And it's all not real. And there's even a fictionalized telling of a true story is not it really happening to somebody. Yes, it really happened, but like it's not happening as they're telling the story of it, right?
right.
My point is that to disallow fictionalized versions of something you don't like silences victims. It silences people who need to talk about what they experienced. It will ultimately lead to education going away, sex education,
Right.
how to spot
I mean,
predators.
it's literally comes down to, okay, then how are we going to have victim statements?
Exactly. Yes. Literally.
How are we going to have?
And then it's like
how are we going to have?
And the problem comes from like, okay, you there's no allowance of fictionalized version of this. So someone has to prove that they were abused in order to talk about it. How would they prove that? Oh, by using real materials? By showing real accounts?
Or
By having,
reenact the.
Yeah. Like you really have to stop and think about like what exactly you're asking for. If you're saying, I want to get rid of fictionalized media that makes me feel bad or makes me think something's wrong with you. You don't have to like it, and you don't have to want to watch it. You don't have to want to read it. But wanting to disallow its existence is the same as you are parroting conservative Christians who want to disallow sex education so that it is easier to groom children to be nothing but wives, to be nothing but servants. And this is actively what they do. And you're not understanding that this is like, if you think that fictional media should be censored because it's talking about something yucky, then you're pro-censorship of things that, like anything that makes you feel yucky. What would make a white supremacist feel yucky?
Right.
Black literature. The fucking, like,
right. Things that are already suppressed.
yes. Like, it's not about what makes you feel yucky. It's about, like, how do you actually protect victims? How do you actually combat against
No,
abuse?
that's it. All the conversations required are too big.
Yeah,
Everyone
exactly.
is, understandably, everyone has too much to deal
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
just to survive.
Yeah.
We have to exchange our labor on the open market, quote unquote, open on the market to have the means to get our basic human needs
Yeah. Yeah.
met. That takes up a lot of time
Yeah.
and energy
Yeah.
and emotion.
Yeah. 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 It's a lot.
So I understand why people
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
get stuck with short answers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's the question is like, why are you going for the quickest thing and not not addressing the issue itself? You're saying, okay, let's get rid of fictionalized media and not let's protect actual victims.
Because that's much harder
Because
to do.
you think, also because you think that the fiction that makes you uncomfortable matters more than people who are actively going through it, because you don't know anybody actively going through it. So you
right.
can't care about them.
Right.
But you don't like that fictionalized media, so that you can get taken care of.
Also, you probably do know someone.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Odds are good.
You don't know of anyone. You don't know
You don't know that you know.
because you're not willing to make yourself uncomfortable.
Right.
Because you're not willing to look at it, because you're not willing to listen to people talk about it. Because what you want are easy answers, and easy answers is create laws around this. Make it illegal to talk about this thing that is real. What are you talking about? Like, yeah.
Well,
can
I mean,
talk about
it's-
this all day,
remember-
every day, obviously.
Remember how drag is inherently sexual?
Right,
And
yeah,
thus
yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't have drag queen story times.
Yeah. And it's actively mocking women.
Oh,
It's
I don't
actively
okay, yes.
I just mean like the bastardization of it in any capacity without actually paying attention to what it's actually doing. Like you can, drag queens are inherently sexual. They're mocking women. They're making, and it's like, where are you getting this? It's like source. I made it up.
I feel mocked.
Yeah, like you're making fun of
No,
women.
but I don't. My point, though, is many times these are, as you point out, with discourse around sex work.
Yeah.
A lot of these talking points are injected purposefully
Yes.
because, I mean, we used to. I don't know if this term even makes sense anymore because the political landscape has changed enough, but we used to talk about wedge issues, or
Yeah.
that used to be a term used when it was things like abortion, which really has no left or right about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it is used.
Yep.
There's no reason to, like, until it was the case.
Yeah.
Post Roe v. Wade, I guess.
Yeah. Getting
And-
overturned or existing?
Passing. The precedent being set.
Gotcha.
I assume somewhere in the 80s with the moral majority and the overt merging of, quote, religion and
Yeah.
Republican politics. That abortion became a Republican,
Yeah. Yeah.
or became polarized in that way.
Yeah.
And it was done on purpose
Yep.
to get people from the Democratic Party, which isn't even that much of a threat, or wasn't.
Yeah.
Maybe it was more in the late 70s. But to pull people away from that side, to get to make this one issue the one.
Yeah.
And a lot of Democrats still, I mean, not anymore because it got overturned, but like until it got overturned, many Republican people running as Democrats or people in office talked about it as this was their issue, even though they did nothing to codify it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, point is, it's a talking point so that it's not really what it is. You know what I mean? It's not really. I'm not saying abortion is trivial and unimportant.
Yeah.
The arguments about it
Yeah. Yeah.
take away from larger issues.
Yeah.
If we had free health care for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of gender,
Yeah.
regardless of sex,
Yeah. Yeah.
not a question.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's why,
Yeah.
like we're talking about abortion instead.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of abortion.